Hello and welcome back. So, in today's video, I'm gonna show you how I modified my freeze pedal. It's a really cool pedal and I love it. But as I've played it throughout the years, I've realized that there are some things with it that I really don't like and that I really need with it. And I've asked myself sometimes, why doesn't this pedal have these functions? So I've added them myself. On one side, I've added a jack that lets me plug in an expression pedal so that I don't need to use this very clunky little button. I have no issues with that kind of button in other effect pedals, but for something that is basically going to be like the sustainer pedal on a piano, it doesn't really work for me. On the other side, I have put another jack. Now this jack lets me get the signal only wet out to an amp. So if I want to, I can have one signal from this jack being the guitar I play plus the effect of pressing down the button, the sustain effect. And I can also have one cable going from this jack to an amp, and that amp will stay quiet until I press down the switch when it lets the sustain effect come through. It also allows me to do weird things, like for example have one pedal going from this jack and another pedal going from this jack, and letting me create weird ambient soundscapes or something. It's a super easy mod to do. It takes very little to do, and I'm just going to go through where I put some cables. Okay, so here we have the pedal, and just to make this super clear to everyone watching this so that they don't get confused, here I have two guitar cables that I use to plug in between pedals, and I'm going to plug one of them into this jack here, and I'm going to plug the other one into this jack here, so that you know that this side, the red one, is the wet mod, and the blue one here, that's the expression pedal mod. You can decide if you want to do both these mods or if you just want one of them. For example, the expression mod is the one I use the most of these. Actually, it's the only way I use this pedal nowadays. The wet out only, it's more of a thing I use when that's relevant. So now that I flip this over, it might not be as confusing as it sometimes can be to see one cable on the wrong side. So let's take a closer look on the inside. Okay, so let's talk about the expression pedal mod first. This blue one right here. All I've done is I've drilled a hole so I can mount another jack inside of here. And the jack has two connections. The back right here, that's the connection to the sleeve. If you look at a jack when it goes in, this long part here is ground. You have to put a ground wire there, and the tip is connected to this. This little black thing here is the isolation that makes sure that they don't connect to each other. So I've put here, on one of them, the tip here, an orange cable, on the back here, a black cable. And you can see how they go back here. They're connected to these two middle lugs right here. I hope you can see them. It's really simple to do this. You have two connections on the switch, a red cable and a white cable. The white cable is the ground, so you can just follow the connection it has to the switch and add in the black wire there. And the red one is the lead, and so I've connected the orange there. Now obviously these are just colors. You can do any colors you want. You can have another red wire and another white wire if you want it. But I like to use black wires as ground connections because it's easier for you to follow along. That's a very simple mod. It allows you to use anything else than the actual switch. Now, I'm using a mono jack here, so you have to use an expression pedal with this one that is also a mono. Just think about that. So if you have a stereo, it won't work with this one. Okay, so now we are going to talk about the other mod, which is the wet signal out. And this one is a little bit more difficult. First off, you have to get into the circuit here to add this black cable that I have right here. I hope you can see it. It goes here to the circuit board. First off, look at my circuit board, because there are two different kinds of circuit boards for this pedal. So when you open your pedal up, you have to look at it and look to see if it looks the way my pedal does. For example, does it have this big chip card here and this small here, this yellow one here? Does it have this connection there? Does it have that white one in the corner right there? Just compare them and look and see if you have the same one. I think this one on the other version is moved down here, for example. I'm not completely sure. If you have the same one as I have, you have to, on this side of the pedal, connect this cable And if you look really closely, all these connections have a name. And you want to find, if you see that your pedal looks like mine does, you want to find the connection that is named R3, and you want to put a cable on that connection. If you see that the inside of your pedal does not look like my pedal does, you need to find the connection R35, but that's if you look different than mine. The black cable from R3 or R35 will get connected to a 100 nanofarad cap that will be connected to the tip of this output jack. And you'll make a tiny little jumper cable from the ground of this output jack to the ground of this output. Just a tiny little jumper cable. Well, that's it. Very simple and easy. I hope you liked the video. Let me know in the comments below. And if you wouldn't mind subscribing, you don't have to if you don't want to, but I'd appreciate if you did. Let's plug this in and see what it sounds like, and hopefully you will like it. Remember that the back here, all these connections is very tiny and small. They're super fragile. One of the reasons why I put one of these big blobs of glue on it. I probably should have filmed this before I did that, but I made this mod several years ago. Anyway, stay awesome and cool. Go and mod your pedals if you want to, and I'll see you in the next video. Okay, so just to make things clear, this is the expression pedal. Instead of using that, I'll be using this. 1 amp is plugged into this to give some cool shimmer. Love this pedal. And the dry signal, the way the pedal is actually working, goes to distortion into another amp. And so now I can play one. And if I want to, I can engage the other one.